Hello and welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Sales. I am Kasey Jones,
And I'm Ashleigh Early.
and we've got a sort of an announcement episode. Ashleigh has some big and exciting things happening in her life, and some kind of crazy things that I bet you all wouldn't expect. And so she's going to share her big update. So what you got, girl?
Yeah. So first of all, I feel like every time these days I tell people, oh my gosh, okay, I've got a little bit of news. This might be unexpected. People who know me, I feel like immediately jump to, oh my gosh, are you pregnant?
No.
Because I am that age, full acknowledgement. No, no, that is not this news. Basically the news is I am moving to the Netherlands.
No big
So
deal.
no big deal. Just moving to Europe. Super excited. This has been in the works for months. And honestly, if we really talk about it, it's been in the works for years. My husband and I have wanted to live in Europe pretty much since we started dating, because literally within 3 months, I think because we celebrated our 3rd-month anniversary actually while we were on a study abroad. So basically I started dating my husband, and literally within a few weeks we kind of knew we were going to get married, which is crazy considering we were 19. I don't know how that happened, but it did, and it worked. It's been hard, but it worked. But I remember being 19 and he was going on this study abroad trip, and I was so sad because I wasn't going to see him for, I don't know, 8 weeks or whatever it was. And he was like, well, let's see if you can come with me. And this was strange because normally freshmen don't go on study abroads. But they happened to have somebody drop out of the program he was on. So I went and met with the program head, and I ended up going on this study abroad with him, which was amazing. We went to split our time between London in the UK and Durham, which is up north, kind of outside of Newcastle, and is like one of the few cathedrals in the UK that wasn't bombed during World War II. So it's this amazing town. If you've seen the first 3 Harry Potter movies, the courtyard that they film scenes in is Durham Cathedral. So like the
That's
pub
awesome.
it's like the pub that we hung out in. Apparently all the actors, that's where all the actors hung out and got smashed after shooting, which was fun because then you could go talk to the bartender and they'd always have Harry Potter.
Although not in the first 3 Harry Potters, because half of the actors were still children.
Yes, I do have. So apparently they did meet Daniel Radcliffe and the whole gang, even though they were like 13, because it's the UK and kids can go to pubs, they just don't drink.
Yeah.
But they did go occasionally. But I did hear some great stories about Robbie Coltrane and the immortal Dame Maggie Smith, and the God rest him, Alan Rickman, and a few other people who popped in and had
That's
some
awesome.
fun evenings. So I can forever, for the rest of my life, say I got drunk in the same place as Alan Rickman.
No big deal.
No big deal. That is a story for another night. But ever since then, my husband Michael and I have wanted to go back. So we've gone back for work. We've gone back for vacations. We literally did our honeymoon in London in the middle of February, which, if you know London, know that's like the worst month of the year to go because it's cold and it's rainy the whole time. But that was perfect for us because we basically just hung out in pubs and went to museums. And there was like no one in the British Museum or the British Library. So we got the whole place to ourselves. It was fantastic. But the big reason why this is happening now is I am so blessed to have this partner in life. And he has, for my entire sales career, supported me unconditionally and sacrificed his personal life and a lot of his own ambitions to support me, to the end where I've dragged him to 5 different states now for my work. I've dragged him to Utah. I've dragged him to Washington State. I've dragged him to DC. I didn't really have to drag him to DC. He was very excited about that one. And I've dragged him to North Carolina. And every single time we've moved, it's been like, okay, well, maybe this will open up some job opportunities that'll let us move to Europe. Maybe this will be the chance. I've interviewed for jobs over there before. I've looked at company transfers. It never worked. It just never, ever worked. And we thought the only way we could get over there was through my work. And earlier this year, we were talking about A, how much we want to go to Europe, and B, how I could better support him, because I'm now at a point where I've got my own business. I can work from anywhere. All of my work is online. It's fantastic. Things are going well. I'm confident in my ability to keep this business running. And okay, so now that I don't need to be somewhere specific to secure employment, what do we want to do with our life? And my amazing, darling, beautiful husband said, well, what if I go back to grad school? What if I go get a degree in political science, a master's degree in political science? And I was like, that'd be great. Yeah, let's figure out how to make that happen. And then he had this idea of, well, okay, if I'm going to go to grad school, I'd like to study international relations, because that's the part of politics I'm really the most interested in. And so we started looking at things, and we realized that if you want to study international relations, there's really 4 cities you go to: DC, New York, because the UN, London, and The Hague. And we started looking at the Netherlands, and we've absolutely fallen in love. And he's been accepted into a really great program in a city called Leiden. So he's going to Leiden University. He's going to be getting a master's in international relations. I'm so proud of him, because it takes a lot of guts to take these non-traditional paths. And he's going to be going into a program with a bunch of people that are probably straight out of college. And he went through the application process. He did some interviews. He did the whole thing. And he got into every single school he applied to. And
Awesome.
I cannot tell you how proud I am of him, because this is someone who does not talk himself up and was utterly convinced, like literally convinced, he was not going to get in anywhere. But yeah, so we are now at the point now, we're recording this in early November. I don't know when we're going to release this, because I honestly don't know when we're leaving. Joys of trying to immigrate in the middle of COVID. It would normally, without COVID, we could just go whenever we wanted, because US normally has a 90-day tourist visa to the EU. That isn't the case now. The only way you can get into the EU right now is actually with, go figure, a student visa, which we're waiting on, or a work visa, which we don't need. So we're basically in this weird holding pattern where we're actually under contract on our house. We have sold literally everything we own. So if you've been trying to reach out to me in September, October, that's why I sounded like an absolute psycho person, because I was selling everything I own in the world. Everything I own can be fit into, I think, 6 or 7 suitcases right now. The furniture you see behind me is rented, because we sold our furniture already. And honestly, it's rented because the 3rd floor of my soon-to-be not house is so echoey if I don't have furniture in here. So I had to rent something. And basically, as soon as the paperwork comes through, which could be sometime between 2 weeks from now and the end of the year, we basically have 10 days to get into the country, the country being the Netherlands. So it's this weird holding pattern of hurry up, sit back, submit all the paperwork, and wait. And wait.
And then get going.
Yeah. And then buy tickets and get that stuff into 6 suitcases and haul those 6 suitcases to an airport and get on a plane, including the dogs, because somebody's going to ask, yes, we're taking the dogs. Like there was ever a chance we were going to leave them behind. The dogs are coming. They're going to be little Dutch boys. It's going to be absolutely adorable. But yeah, it's really exciting. It's really terrifying. It's going to be an incredible adventure. It's already been so much harder than I thought it would be. And we're not even there yet. I'm still going to keep doing consulting and stuff like that. And I'm excited to start building out my European portfolio a bit. So shout out to anybody who listens in Europe. Hit me up. Let's do some networking. Shout out to anybody who has European arms of their companies who might want to get somebody on board who can help them sell to the American market, or take some of the tactics that we know work in the States and apply them to Europe. I've done work in Europe before, so really excited about the potential market opportunity there. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me. I feel like I have news for once, which is kind of great. It's like, yeah, I waited and dropped a banger.
It's pretty awesome. So I don't know, what are you most excited about?
Food.
Oh, that's right. You know what I need to do? I need to send you the link to the Amsterdam food walking tour
Oh
that I
God,
took when
yeah.
I was there. That was absolutely amazing. We did it. We flew in. Portland actually has a direct flight from Portland to Amsterdam. And so you fly in and you get there in the early morning. And of course, your hotel isn't ready. So while we were like zombies, we did a food walking tour. And I think you wind up going to, it's like 11 or 13 different places.
Ugh.
And the cool thing about it is they do a lot of the local, like kind
Yeah,
of
the
specialty
local
foods,
haunts,
but
not just like
also
touristy stuff.
all the, you go to all the immigrant communities. And so you have
Yeah.
food from, it's like, I think like half of them were from like the primary immigrant communities. And then you finish with booze, which is fantastic. And
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
it was fabulous. And it was just like, you really got to see the city and the food was great. And yeah, I will also send you the link to the red light district walking tour, which was fascinating
Yep.
and very, very entertaining.
No, I feel like I want to call something out here. Kasey has been to the Netherlands. I haven't. I'm moving to a country that I've never been to.
Yeah, it's so much more exciting.
And
You're going to learn so much, and
so much,
it's going to be amazing.
It's so much more exciting. And this is reminding me I need to make sure I do my Rosetta Stone today, so I can make sure I keep learning. I mean, I know everybody in the Netherlands speaks English. Like literally, I literally had a call with someone today in the Netherlands, and they opened up the call in Dutch, and I got flustered. I was like, I'm sorry. Do you speak English? Of course I speak English. Thank you.
Yeah, and
all right.
and all the signs are in both languages. I will also say, holy moly! Like you look at the word in Dutch, like I used to be close to fluent in Spanish. I've lost 80% of that, but like I can look at most
Latin
like
roots,
European languages, and I can at least give a pretty solid guess on how to pronounce it. Dutch, you look at it and you're like, it's 19 letters. There's 7 vowels in a row, and then there's 4 consonants in a row. No idea.
No, I had a moment last night that was fabulous because I was doing some research on something, and most of the website was in Dutch, did not translate. Google Translate was not working, but I scrolled to the bottom to do a contact us form. Basically, I think I was looking at housing, and I was very excited because they had, it's really stupid, but they had the little box at the bottom you have to check to prove you're a real person.
Yeah.
But I was so excited because I actually understood what it said in the box. Granted, what it said was "Ik ben geen robot," which is just I am not a robot directly, but I was really proud of myself because I remember like 3 weeks ago, I was doing Rosetta Stone. I was struggling with how they were teaching the negatives because sometimes it's negative in terms of making a verb a negative, and sometimes it's negative in terms of turning a pronoun or a noun negative. Like geen, G-E-E-N, is actually there may be an R in there. I don't remember. If you speak Dutch, I apologize. I am learning your language. I promise I'm making the effort. But it's a ch, not a whatever. And I'm lucky in the sense that, like, same thing as you. I took Spanish. I used to be pretty good at Spanish. I have a really good ear for imitation, so I can mimic things very well. But I was raised listening in terms of what I've spent more time hearing, German and Russian. So I can get most of the things. If I hear it, I can mimic it. I can do all that. I can even get the in there usually, even though that sounds more Hebrew than Dutch, but I'm working on it. But it's a whole thing, and I'm really excited, and it's really stressful, and it's overwhelming, honestly. And trying to do everything around the visa and the move on top of everything to do with the business and everything to do with 2020 has been and the dogs and everything else has been an incredible opportunity to teach me everything I don't know about how to take care of myself. I have had several points in this process where I have broken or nearly broken down because it's just so much. And I keep saying, oh, it's fine. I can work and do a couple hours a day and keep doing this. It'll be fine. No, it's not. Number one mistake I've made in this process has been insisting on working through it. There have been so many points where, like, if I have taken a day off in the past couple months, it's been because my body physically forced me to, my mind physically forced me to, rather than just stepping back and saying, I need to take 2 days to deal with this, and then I'll come back and actually handle it.
Well, and that's one of the shocking, surprising upsides to this is you might just have a forced vacation, which goodness knows you really need.
I need so bad. Actually, we're waiting to hear back from a lawyer actually to figure out exactly how the transition is going to work in terms of my income and everything. It's kind of fascinating, and one of the net results is, I might actually be literally forced to take a couple weeks off because I'm just not allowed to earn income. And I was talking with my husband the other day, and he was like, well, in my immediate reaction when I heard that was, oh no, it's fine. I'll do this and I'll do that, and no one will know. And and then I kind of caught myself and I was like, I'm psychotic. If you may or may not have heard my husband in the background yell, I'm psychotic. Maybe a couple weeks off would be a good idea after everything this year and moving to a new country and actually figuring out where we're going to live and how to buy food and set up insurance and all these other things that come with moving internationally. So there's still a ton up in the air. It's a heck of a lot. It's really exciting. It's an incredible adventure. When Michael and I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, I kind of live tweeted the road trip using the hashtag Earlies Go East. I've already decided we're going to go Earlies Go East-er this time because we're just going to keep going east. We're just going to keep going. This time we're crossing an ocean.
Next time it'll be Mongolia. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. We got this. It'll be fine. Hey, you know what? We'll make sure we stop off in Bangladesh because after your trip there, that sounded incredible. But
it was incredible.
Yeah.
You guys should watch it's the Ewan McGregor. He's done
Long Way Round and Long Way Down.
Yeah, well, he has a new one that's
they're doing another one.
Long Way Up. It's live. It's on Apple Plus. They go from Argentina to LA.
Oh, I didn't realize that's right. I remember hearing they had filmed that.
I haven't watched it yet. They're on electric bikes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Ewan McGregor's a huge environmentalist.
Yeah, but I also don't know how you get those charged when you're like in the middle of nowhere in Central America. I bet that presents its own challenge.
I don't either, but now I'm going to have to go look that up because I absolutely adored Long Way Round and Long Way Down. So
they're great. They're great.
Yeah, him and Charlie are absolutely fantastic. You should look these things up on Amazon. They're like 10 years old now, except for the new one, which is why I was so excited for the new one. But they're so fabulous.
Yeah, they're really fun.
Things I wish I could do, but I probably could do, but it's one of those things like you think, oh, that'd be so cool to do. And then you actually think about the practical side of it. And I'm like, I am not camping out in the middle of nowhere in Mongolia, 15 hours from the nearest hospital.
No, what you do. So I did, I am divorced now, but my honeymoon was, one of the things we did was we did a week-long motorcycle trip in northern Thailand, but we did it with a group, so you have like a van carrying all of your stuff and you don't have to map your course, and it's freaking awesome. But
I've always wanted to. I'm a huge fan of Top Gear, which is this British motoring show. I know you know this, Kasey. For the record, original Top Gear, not current Top Gear, and not American Top Gear. We're talking Clarkson, Hammond, and May. But they do these great road trips and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to go do, they did Vietnam. They've done a few parts of Africa, stuff like that. They've done parts of the US that I haven't done. I always love the idea of that stuff. But at the same time, I think about the practical side of it. And I'm like, I'd rather just go sit in a museum and stare at maybe some Dutch masters for a day. And that's one of the biggest reasons we're so excited about Europe is jump on a train for 2 hours and I can go to the best museums in the world, the best art, the best history. No, well, not the best because that's arguable and there's a whole other parts of the world, but it's exposure at a level that we don't get here in the States because it's 4 hours to pretty much another major city, unless you're talking about New York and Boston. And even in New York and Boston are really 4 hours away. So
6. Right.
Well, if you drive, you can get a flight, but between the airport and everything, it's like an hour flight and whatever. Anyway, so that's Ashleigh's going Dutch.
Pretty exciting. So what can we do to support you or to make your trip just a little easier? Obviously, introduce you to Dutch people and Dutch companies and European people and European companies that we know. What else?
Tell me I haven't lost my mind.
You lost it a long time ago, and it is not about this at all.
That's a good point. Yeah, the mind is gone, giving it up.
Honestly,
just stay in touch. I mean, it's going to take a while. We're still going to keep recording this stuff. It's going to take a while to get used to time zones and figuring all these other things out. Be patient with me, and and if I can help in any way too, please, please, please let me know if there's anything I could do to return the favor. If you've done one of these international moves, I'd love to hear about it. And we, we'll keep figuring this stuff out. But yeah, it's more just sharing. This stuff is possible. This has been a dream for well over a decade, and dreams do come true.
Dreams do come true. All you have to do is make them happen.
Yeah.
Dreams don't happen, you create them.
Yeah, and they don't happen in the way I never would have expected it to happen this way. I really would not. And the only reason it did happen was because I took the leap earlier this year and started my own business, which I said I would never do. And because I said I'd go into consulting, which I said I'd never do. The only reason this is possible is because I started doing the things I told myself I would never do.
This is one of the upsides to entrepreneurship. There's plenty of downsides and there's plenty of upsides, but this is one of the upsides, is it makes it a lot easier to create the life that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrifying and exciting and a million other things I never thought I'd experience. And
it's wonderful.
I can't wait to see what's next.
It's wonderful. Well, we are super excited for you. Everyone who is listening, introduce Ashleigh to your European friends and colleagues and companies. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends, post it on social, hit us up on social and let us know about your fun, crazy adventures or big, crazy dreams so that we can celebrate with you or help you in any way we can. And please leave us a review and keep on listening.
Thanks, guys.